You've been giving her your time, your attention, your energy, and still it feels like it all goes unnoticed. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you think about is sending her that good morning text. You check your phone constantly, waiting for a reply that, when it comes, feels half-hearted at best. You try to make plans. You try to show her that you're interested, that you're committed, but she's always busy, always finding a way to dodge the effort. And deep down, you feel the sting of it because you know what you're offering has value. Yet it's treated like it costs nothing. That's the brutal truth of chasing. The harder you push, the less she feels the need to lean in. Think about it. When something is given freely, without condition, without limit, without pause, the human mind stops registering its value. If someone handed you a cup of coffee every morning for free, no matter the effort or cost, you'd stop tasting it. You'd drink it on autopilot. It would no longer feel special because it required nothing from you. That's exactly what happens when you flood someone with endless availability. Your presence begins to feel like background noise, always there, always accessible, no effort needed. And once you become background noise, your absence loses impact. She never has to wonder about you, never has to question where she stands, never has to put in the smallest bit of effort to earn your time. This is the trap so many men fall into. They believe consistency by itself is the key to attraction. They think if they just show up every day, eventually she'll see their worth and reward that effort with respect, with affection, with commitment. But attraction doesn't work like that. Respect doesn't grow from being handed everything on a silver platter. It grows when something is scarce and something feels earned. If you've always been the one to text first, if you've always been the one to make the plans, if you've always been the one keeping the connection alive, what has she done to earn your consistency? The answer is nothing. And when someone doesn't have to earn it, they don't protect it. They don't value it. They assume it will always be there, no matter how they treat it. You feel it in your gut, even if you don't want to admit it. Every time you double text and get a short reply, every time you rearrange your schedule to fit hers, only to get canceled on. Every time you put in energy and get indifference in return, your self-respect takes a hit. It eats away at your confidence. And still you chase because you're afraid that if you don't, she'll slip away completely. But here's the reality you need to face. The very act of chasing is what's pushing her further away. The more you try to prove yourself, the more she feels she doesn't have to meet you halfway. The imbalance grows. You're giving, she's taking. You're investing, she's withdrawing. And one day, you wake up realizing you've poured everything into someone who never saw the value in it. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding how human nature works. People rarely treasure what they don't have to fight for. And until you stop making yourself endlessly available, until you stop being the one carrying all the weight, she will never truly feel the impact of your presence. You don't build attraction by being someone's free daily coffee. You build it by becoming the rare, irreplaceable thing that they know could be gone if they don't protect it. That's the shift you need to see the trap of chasing isn't love. It's self-betrayal. And it always ends with you empty while she feels nothing. The paradox hits you the moment you stop chasing. You've been pouring your energy into her, making sure she never had to wonder where she stood with you, and all you got in return was indifference. But then, the day comes when you finally pull back. You stop being the first one to text. You stop rearranging your schedule around hers. You stop feeding a connection that was only alive because of your effort. And suddenly, something shifts. The silence that follows doesn't just hang in the air. It speaks louder than all the words you sent before. And that's when you notice her behavior begin to change. She starts watching your stories. She lingers on your posts. She asks, "What are you up to?" As if she suddenly realized you had a life outside of her. It feels strange, even unfair, that she only seems to care once your energy is gone. But that's not unfairness, it's human psychology. Absence has weight. We don't appreciate what we always have access to. It's the same way you stop noticing a song that plays on repeat. At first, you might enjoy it, even love it. But after hearing it every day, it fades into the background. You don't even realize it's there anymore. Then one day, it disappears from the radio, and suddenly you're humming it to yourself, missing it, searching for it. That gap, that silence, reignites your attention. It forces you to feel what you lost. This is exactly what happens when you stop chasing. The energy she once ignored suddenly becomes noticeable by its absence. It makes her stop and ask questions. Why isn't he chasing me anymore? Did I do something wrong? Did I take him for granted? It's not that she didn't see you before, it's that she didn't have to think about you. You were already there, filling every gap, removing the need for her to wonder, removing the need for her to try. But when you stop, that empty space becomes impossible to ignore. Space creates tension. Tension creates curiosity. And curiosity is the seed of desire. She may not have valued your presence while you were handing it out for free. But the moment you step back, the silence reminds her of what it felt like when you were always around. That reminder triggers respect. Respect is the foundation of attraction. Here's the truth. People don't value what they don't have to earn. They don't desire what they don't have to think about. By chasing, you rob someone of the chance to feel that desire. You give them no room to wonder, no room to miss you, no room to imagine what it would be like if you weren't always there. Pulling back doesn't just protect your self-respect, creates space for her to finally invest. And if she doesn't notice, doesn't reach out, doesn't care even when you stop, that's not a loss, it's clarity. It means the connection only ever existed because of your effort, and you deserve more than that. You deserve someone who values your presence enough to fear your absence. When you stop chasing, you don't just pull away from her, you pull your energy back into yourself. And that's where the real transformation begins. All the time you used to spend worrying about her replies, checking your phone, replaying conversations in your head, that's energy you can redirect. And when you do, everything about you starts to shift. You pick up weights you used to avoid. You start dressing in a way that makes you feel sharp. You commit to learning that skill you've been putting off, building that business idea, or pushing yourself into challenges you once postponed. Suddenly, instead of orbiting around her, your world begins to expand. And with expansion comes momentum. Momentum is magnetic. People are drawn to energy that moves forward. It's why we admire athletes, entrepreneurs, artist people who create, who grow, who refuse to stay stagnant. When you chase, your life shrinks down to a single point, her. But when you shift your focus back onto yourself, you stop looking like a man desperate for attention and start looking like a man with direction. And direction is rare. Direction separates men who wander from men who lead. The paradox of attraction is that when she was the center of your world, you looked small. But the moment your life becomes bigger, she sees you differently. She begins to notice things she overlooked before. The confidence in the way you carry yourself, the discipline in your habits, the pride in your work. She senses that your attention is no longer guaranteed, no longer something she can take for granted. And that subtle change is powerful. Women don't just want presence, they want presence with substance. They want to feel like being around you means being pulled into a world that's growing, evolving, and alive. When you focus on yourself, you create that world. You build a life so rich and full that her presence would be a privilege. It's not a necessity. And even if she doesn't say it out loud, she feels it. Growth has an energy that can't be hidden. It shows in your eyes, in your posture, in your voice. It shows in the way you stop reacting to small things, in the way you carry peace instead of neediness. Most people never change. They stay stuck in the same routines, the same excuses, the same cycles. But when you grow, when you level up, you separate yourself from the masses. You stop being ordinary in her eyes. You become the man she regrets underestimating. This isn't just about making her notice. This is about becoming the man who no longer needs to chase in the first place. Because once you feel the momentum of growth, once you taste the confidence that comes from progress, you realize something important. Chasing her was never the answer. Building yourself was. The stronger you become, the more magnetic you are, not just to her, but to everyone. That's the power of self-focus. It's not a tactic. It's a transformation. And it's the very thing that makes your presence impossible to ignore. Boundaries are the quiet strength that most men are too afraid to hold. They think that by setting limits, by demanding respect, they'll push her away. So instead, they tolerate late replies, excuses, broken plans, and being treated as an option. They tell themselves, "It's fine. At least I'm still in her life." But deep down, they know the truth. It's not fine. Every time you accept less than you deserve, you teach her that your time, your attention, and your effort are negotiable. You train her to believe that no matter how little she gives, you'll keep showing up. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who doesn't respect himself. When you draw a line, you're not being controlling, you're being clear. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut people out. They're respect lines. They say, "This is what I give, and this is what I accept. Cross that line, and you lose access to me." A man with boundaries doesn't need to shout or argue. He doesn't need to beg. His silence speaks louder than words. He simply stops entertaining what doesn't align with his worth. And women feel that. They may not admit it, but they respect it. Because deep down, everyone knows that value is tied to standards. If you don't protect your time has no value. If you don't protect your energy gets drained. Boundaries preserve both. Then comes silence, the other half of this lesson. Silence isn't weakness. It isn't avoidance. It's revelation. When you stop chasing, when you stop filling the space with effort, the truth rises to the surface. You get clarity. Does she reach out? Does she check in? Does she show effort when you stop carrying all the weight? Or does she stay quiet, proving that without your constant energy, there is nothing? That's the beauty of silence. It forces people to reveal themselves. You don't have to ask questions. You don't have to wonder. The answer comes in whether or not they step forward when you step back. Most men fear silence because they're terrified of what it might reveal. They think, if I stop texting, maybe she'll forget me. If I stop trying, maybe she'll move on. But here's the reality. If silence makes her disappear, she was never really there to begin with. You didn't lose her, you just exposed the truth. And if she does reach out, if she starts putting in effort once you pull away, then you've shifted the balance. You've proven that your value isn't dependent on chasing. You've given her space to realize that your presence is worth something she has to earn. Boundaries, silence work hand in hand. Boundaries protect your value. Silence reveals the truth about hers. Together, they save you from wasting time on someone who doesn't care, and they attract the one who does. It's not about punishing her. It's about respecting yourself enough to step back and see who meets you halfway. The man who learns to hold boundaries and embrace silence never has to beg for love. He simply allows the truth to reveal who belongs in his life and who never did. Independence is the quiet force that makes you untouchable. It's the signal that you are whole on your own, that your sense of worth isn't tied to whether or not she texts you back, chooses you, or validates you. Most men never reach this point because they've been conditioned to believe that approval equals value. They feel powerful when someone likes them, wanted when someone responds, complete when someone stays. But that kind of dependence is fragile. The moment she pulls away, your entire world shakes. You lose sleep, you replay every interaction, you question yourself. That's what happens when you hand your power over to someone else. Independence takes that power back when you stand on your own. You send a message without saying a word. I want you here, but I don't need you here. That difference is everything. Want creates attraction. Need creates pressure. Nobody wants to be needed in order for someone else to feel whole. It's suffocating. But being wanted, that's magnetic. That's a choice rooted in strength, not weakness. And women feel that difference instantly. A man who can walk alone, who can live fully without grasping for validation, carries a presence that is impossible to fake. He radiates calm, security, and certainty. He doesn't panic when she pulls back. He doesn't beg for reassurance. He knows who he is, and that is what makes him irresistible. Alongside independence comes peace. Chasing is exhausting. It drains your mind, your spirit, your body. You find yourself stuck in constant loops of anxiety. Why didn't she reply? What is she thinking? Did I do something wrong? That endless questioning erodes your confidence and steals your energy. But the moment you detach, the moment you stop relying on her response to validate your worth, that noise quiets. You sleep better. You breathe deeper. You move with a steadiness that wasn't there before. And that peace doesn't just benefit you, it changes how others see you. People naturally gravitate toward calm energy because it feels safe. It feels strong. It feels rare in a world full of desperation. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you become cold, bitter, or closed off. It means you care enough about yourself not to lose yourself in someone else. It means you value your own peace above the chaos of constantly chasing approval. And ironically, that's what makes people chase you. The more you release the need for her to complete you, the more she feels the pull to be part of your world. Because independence is attractive, but independence paired with warmth, growth, and presence that's unstoppable. At the end of the day, this journey isn't about her at all. It's about you. It's about building a life so rich, so fulfilling that anyone who enters it knows they're stepping into something special. If she stays, it's because she truly values you. If she leaves, it's because she was never meant for you. Either way, you win. Because the one thing you'll never lose again is yourself. And once you've built that foundation of independence and peace, no one can take it from you.